Condition of women. Life of women in India 200 years ago was very different. Women had little freedom. They were confined to their homes. Most women had virtually no access to education. Polygamy was common. Women could not inherit property. Child marriage was common. Widows were not allowed to remarry, and their plight was miserable. The practice of sati was widespread. Social reformers. Over the 19th and 20th centuries, many social reformers came forward to improve the condition of women. With the introduction of printing press, their views reached a vast section of the society and influenced their thinking.
Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Sati. Raja Ram Mohan Roy is known as the father of modern India and a champion of women's rights.
He undertook many reforms for the upliftment of women in India. He was the founder of the Brahmo Samaj at Kolkata in 1828. He raised his voice against sati system and persuaded Lord William Bentinck, the Governor-General, to pass a law against sati in 1829. He also raised his voice against polygamy and child marriage.
He encouraged the study of English and Western education, as it would help eradicate social evils from our society.
He translated many religious and philosophical books in Bengali.
Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and widow remarriage. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was a social reformer and an educationist with a modern vision.
He championed the cause of girls' education and founded 35 schools for girls. In 1849, he set up the first Indian school for girls in Calcutta. He believed that the status of women could be changed only through education. He championed the cause of widow remarriage despite a strong opposition by orthodox Hindus. It was due to his efforts that the government passed the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act in 1856. Derozio and Young Bengal. Henry Louis Vivian Derozio was a teacher at Hindu College in Calcutta. He promoted radical ideas and encouraged his pupils to question all authority. The movement started by him is known as the Young Bengal movement. His students attacked traditions and customs and demanded education for women. They championed for the freedom of thought and expression. Swami Dayanand, founder of Arya Samaj. Dayanand Saraswati was a brilliant Sanskrit scholar and a reformer in North India. At the young age of 14 years, he started questioning the meaningless religious rituals practiced in Indian society. He fought against sati, widow remarriage, and child marriage, untouchability, idol worship, and polytheism. Dayanand founded the Arya Samaj in 1875, an organization that attempted to reform Hinduism. Through it, he revived ancient Vedic culture and traditions. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He supported women's liberation. He demanded a ban on the practice of Purdah system and polygamy in Muslim society. He was against the Muslim custom of easy divorce by simply repeating the word talaq thrice. Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Ramakrishna Paramahansa, a great saint of Bengal, was a devotee of goddess Kali. He believed that all women were the reincarnation of Kali. Men should treat them as equal and with respect. Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda held that education alone can help in ending all the evils of the society. He supported equal rights for women and believed that the reform movements on sati and widow remarriage should not be confined to the upper classes only. He instilled in the youth a sense of patriotism and pride in the rich ancient culture of the country. He founded the Ramakrishna Mission in 1897 to work for the upliftment of the poor. Women reformers. By the end of 19th century, women like Pandita Ramabai, Tarabhai Shinde, Ruqayya Shaukat Hussain, Begums of Bhopal, etc. actively worked for reforming the life of women. They wrote books and magazines, founded schools and training centers for girls' education, and set up associations for fighting the cause of women. They also joined social reform movements to raise awareness about the oppressive attitude towards women. Mahadev Govind Ranade and the Prarthana Samaj. Mahadev Govind Ranade carried forward the work of the Prarthana Samaj established by R.C. Bhandarkar in Bombay. The association attacked caste system and untouchability. It worked for widow remarriage, women education, and raising the age of marriage for both men and women. Caste and social reforms. In the 19th century, Indian society was divided into a rigid structure based on caste. While the Brahmins and Kshatriyas occupied a high position, the untouchables were at the lowest rung of the society. They were oppressed, humiliated, and exploited. Condition of the untouchables. The untouchables were not allowed to enter temples or draw water from the wells used by the upper castes. They could not bathe in ponds where upper castes bathed. They were seen as inferior human beings. They were not allowed to sit or eat with the upper castes. The discrimination of the lower castes was justified even in the scriptures. British rule helped in diluting caste system. During the course of the 19th century, Christian missionaries began setting up schools for tribal groups and lower caste children. In 1858, the government declared that all the government schools will have to admit children from all castes. Children of different castes started studying together. Many lower caste people began to leave villages in search of jobs in British Army, industries or municipalities. The caste discrimination observed in rural societies was much diluted in the 19th and 20th century. It was wealth and education which determined a person's social status and not caste. Demand for equality and justice. By the second half of 19th century, people from within the non-Brahmin castes began to organize movements against caste discrimination and demanded equality and social justice. The Veda Samaj. The Veda Samaj, established in Madras, was an important social reform organization in the southern India. It was inspired by Brahmo Samaj. It raised a strong voice against caste distinction, polygamy, and child marriage, and supported widow remarriage. It was against superstitious and rituals of orthodox Hinduism.
Kandukuri Veerasalingam, 1848 to 1990. Veerasalingam, known as the father of modern Andhra Pradesh, waged a war against untouchability and caste system.
He believed that caste system was weakening our society. He supported intercaste marriage as a solution to end caste discrimination. Shri Narayan Guru, 1854 to 1939. Shri Narayan Guru started Shri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Yogam as an organization of social reform. He fought for the entry of Azhavas into temples. He did not believe in meaningless distinctions based on caste or religion. He believed in the principle of one caste, one religion, and one God. He built many temples in which there were no images of gods and goddesses. Periyar Ramaswamy, 1879 to 1973. V. Ramaswamy Nekkar, popularly called Periyar, fought for the cause of the downtrodden in Tamil Nadu. He started the self-respect movement for the right of the untouchables to enter temples and to campaign against the denomination of Brahmins. It was due to his agitations that the constitution was amended to introduce reservation for the backward classes. Mahatma Gandhi, 1869 to 1948. According to Gandhiji, untouchability has no sanction whatsoever in the Hindu Shastras. He called the untouchables as Harijans, the children of God. He set up an example of ending caste discrimination in his own ashram. People of all castes sat together and ate together. He personally cleaned the toilets in the ashram to display the dignity of labor. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, 1891 to 1956. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chief architect of our constitution, was a Dalit activist and had suffered lot of humiliation at school since he was born in a Dalit family. He fought for the entry of untouchables into temples. He asked the Dalits to fight for their own rights instead of depending on others. He provided free legal help to untouchables against injustice by the members of upper castes. He was in favor of reservation of seats for lower castes in the government jobs.